All right, it is 1 o'clock right on the East Coast. So, Daily Bread coming at you live right at the perfect time for your lunch break on the East and Central time. West Coast people, hit that coffee harder or no early plays today, so you can wait till lunch if you really need to. But we appreciate all of you who tap in with us live. If this is your first episode, thank you for joining. Definitely won't be your last. And to all the people who keep coming back day in and day out, Sosa and I appreciate you a lot. We are currently live at Daily Bread Media on Twitter, so make sure to hit that like and retweet button there if you're tuning in with us. We still can't feature the comments, but if you want to make sure you're featured in the show, hop over to our YouTube page at Daily Bread Media to be like Barry, Nathan, and the rest of the guys. You get the notification when we're in that waiting room, and about 10 or 15 minutes later, we're live. We got the best chat out there. We'll talk about Cade. We got Mo tapping back in with us. Tyler hit a 5-leg plus 2,720 last night, so he's feeling good. Like to hear that. I don't think he posted that, but as usual, in the chat, drop your best plays, ask any questions. We'll always give you those looks. Show's powered by the Wise Guys Diamond Club. Make sure to be checking them out. And then if you're from Louisiana, make sure to be checking out the Crest City as well.
Crescent City Cartel. Those guys are the homies for sure. But yeah, man, interesting 24 hours.
Hit the 1K. So while we still have everyone here before we talk about sports, Friday is the giveaway. So we have people DMing us and replying to the tweets to make sure you're private and you get entered. Perfect way to do it. Please keep doing that because I'll be adding you to the list. YouTube doesn't allow us to see the private subs. So if you want to be entered in that $250 giveaway, it's the way to get it. Yes, Lyon was disrespectful. Yeah, that second half comeback sucked. Jared, good call on that UNCG. Soccer, we really only got the CONCACAF World Cup qualifying. Friday is when the leagues come back. Tomorrow is basically an off day for it completely. So we'll be back rolling with the footy come Friday. Sosa, you're about to say something about last night that you saw as we get everyone else tuned up in here. We'll start.
Nah, just yesterday in general was a weird day in sports. Not really in regards to any games or anything. That Brian Flores shit still got me. Like, that shit's fucking crazy. It's one of the craziest stories I've seen in sports in a cool minute. So that's pretty much where I'm at with it personally. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a weird fucking day yesterday. It was a lot of weird shit going on. But
yeah, I think it's only going to get crazier as the time goes on. You held a great space yesterday. We had a lot of great people come up and talk about the topics that need to be talked about. So listened in to the full space. Great conversation that you hosted.
Absolutely, man. Had a lot of different voices in there. And, it's all conversation is what we're here for. We're always here to get the perspective of others and to respect the perspective of others. Like, y'all might think I'm being disrespectful when I tell people to shut the fuck up and mind their business. But, I mean, you're entitled to tell that to anybody, really. The rules are the rules. But outside of that, I'm just, ready for today. Got a nice NBA slate. Got a really nice college slate. Got a lot of games, a lot of opportunity to make some money. Last night had some of the wildest fucking beats in, oh my God, bro. Just blowouts and just
back-to-backs, man. We warned the people that it's a wild night. Cade playing 21 minutes. Know a lot of people were salty about that.
Can't control that, man. You can't control the number of minutes that a player is going to get, especially in a game like that. He just was, oh my goodness, awful, absolutely fucking awful. I mean,
and then,
I cannot
Flyers money line that came through at the end of the show. If you stuck all the way to the end, 2-game winning streak, all-star break coming up. Worst way to get the Flyers. NHL didn't want them to stay hot.
Hockey. Yeah, well.
All right, let's get into what we liking for tonight. The chat's blowing up on what plays. We got Doris giving out a CONCACAF play. Plus, that is a Scottish Premiership play. They play
Mhm.
Rangers, craziest derby in Scotland.
Miami and VCU moneyline parlay. Miami's at the crib. I think the line's like 4.5.
I have a play on that game coming up, so don't you worry.
Bucks first half clearly cashed for sure. My first play tonight comes in the Celtics Hornets game. The game is at Boston. My favorite play tonight is Terry Rozier over 19.5. I would actually play Terry all the way to like 25, playing his former team. I love the revenge angle. I love the fact that Gordon Hayward is not all the way there. As I think he might not play tonight. I'm pretty sure he's unavailable. Give me Terry Rozier over 19.5 at minus 106. And I also like Terry Rozier's 3-pointers made. And I will play him to make 4 of them. Him to make 4 threes is at plus 140. So those are the 2 plays that I love in that game. I think Terry comes out and he puts it on his old team. Whether they win or lose, I think Terry has a great game.
Yeah, definitely. What are you thinking about the 6? That 6 seems a little short potentially.
I can't really touch the spread or anything like that simply because this Boston team picks and chooses when they play well. They've been wildly inconsistent, whether it be at home or on the road. But I personally, I would have to. I love the Browns threes, but they now are playing. They now have both Tatum and him at over 3.5. When they have when they have a game where they each hit like 5, they take like 2 more games to readjust the number back to 2.5. So you're gonna have to bet 3.5 the next couple games until one of them bricks it up. Because that's basically how it goes. Because one of them's not going to get it. 4 is okay, but if they both were at 3, you're never going to get them both at plus money. A week ago, you got both Brown and Tatum at plus money at 2.5. They had one game in which they had 4. They each had hit 5 each, and the next 2 games it's been 3.5. I'm not betting either at 3.5 because it's going to be juiced to the under to make you bet 4, and one of them won't get it.
Yes, sir. And when you said Boston's wildly inconsistent, it's not saying that they ain't a good team. It's just that ATS and overall they're 500 or slightly right above 500. So it's a harder team to read in that.
They've been better. They've been better as of recently. That's a fact. They've played better recently, but they're still not. They're still, again. It's you need a stretch of consistency where they're winning games and they're winning games in a row, and you see that level of cohesion. You haven't seen that at all. It's still a lot of ISO. So those are my 2 favorites in that one. The other game that I'm on is Sixers versus the Wizards. Joe's back tonight. A refreshed Joe. I am going to go with the Sixers to cover the 10.5 tonight. There's no emotional letdown when you're playing a team that shouldn't be on the floor with you. No Bradley Beal, who has been an amazing contributor against the Sixers over the last 3 seasons. I think that hurts immensely. So I like the Sixers to cover the 10.5 tonight. That's my favorite bet at minus 110. My favorite NBA side tonight is my team. They started off slow the other night, still managed to beat Memphis. It might be a slow game tonight where we don't start pulling away till the mid third or late third, but they will cover the 10.5 against the Wizards tonight. There's no doubts here whatsoever. And the 2 other plays that I love tonight are in the Memphis Grizzlies New York Knicks game. I'm going with Jaren Jackson Jr. over 15.5 points. The matchups all are in his favor. There's no guy defensively that I see having an issue. I also like for Ja to be himself and run the offense and just handle business. As far as getting him the ball in the spots where he would want the ball, I love Jaren Jackson Jr. tonight over 15.5.
All right. I like that spot there as well. What about his blocks? It used to be at 1.5. Now you get it at 2.5. The 2.5 is kind of the same thing with the threes where If you catch the book sleeping and you can catch a 1.5, that's usually a good spot.
Oh yeah, he's having a nice little run defensively. I mean, he's getting like 4 or 5 of them a night. He's been great for this team.
I think the last game was the first time in the past 3 or 4, if not 5 games that he didn't hit. So he's been cashing 3, if not 4 of the 5 in a row.
A couple of really good value bets would be I like the Kevin Porter Jr. Kevin Porter Jr. over 7.5 assists. Kevin Porter Jr. to get a double double. I'm pretty sure that's probably at like plus 300. It's at plus 290. Kevin Porter to get a double double. Playing against Cleveland. They're at home. I believe that Garland is still out as well. I like Kevin Porter Jr. to have a good game. Over 7.5 is a plus 116. Getting it at plus money, especially the way he performs when he gets the full-time minutes. I think those are two very good plays. Kevin Porter Jr. with the double-double and Kevin Porter Jr. over 7.5 assists. Oh Lord, Dan, I'm not going to put up with. I'm not going to speak to anybody who's a Warriors fan.
Poking the bear right there.
Oh man. I love Anthony Simons too, man. Anthony Simons has been he's one guy who has been playing so well. Obviously, people are going to say it's, Dame's not out, he's getting the minutes, but I'm so happy to see him get the minutes and do something with them. I mean, he's been efficient, he's hitting threes, he's showing a bit of a pulse defensively, even though he's a smaller guard. He's a guy who I love. Him and Gary Trent, man. Him and Gary Trent Jr. have just been playing great basketball the last month of the season. And those are two guys that have really caught my eye personally. I think that's really all that I love. I really, like I said, I'd bet on if I could get, what I would do is I would bet on both I would take like both the guys from Boston, Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And I would just take them both to hit 3 threes, which would probably still be a plus money. But they're trying to bait you to make you take 4 each.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. I see a lot of people I see in the comments, don't do that. If you're going to do it, parlay the 2 and knock them down 1, make it safer. I could see them both hitting 3, but it would suck for one to hit 4, and you'd be waiting all fourth quarter for them to hit a 4th one, the other guy. So the Blazers look refreshed. You'd look refreshed if you were playing some bad teams too, probably. Ask Mo about that. Right, the 3 threes for it to be okay. I'm seeing 3 threes for both of them at minus money on mine. Hold on. They're both minus. Yeah, they're both minus pressures for me. I don't know what the player threes. We got Tatum over 3.5 or Brown over 3.5 at plus 116 and Tatum over 3.5 at plus 130. So. And I got both of them at plus. Like if you were to parlay both of them, if you were to parlay both of them together, it's plus 110. So yeah, that's right. Together, part. Okay, now I'm rereading. So yeah,
you good now.
Yeah,
so
now I'm like
over to college hoops. We let you try to run it a little too long by yourself, and you got.
Right, I'm like, thanks, guys. But yeah, no, I would. That's definitely to get it at plus money. It's still worth it. I would do that in a heartbeat. Tatum and right, you have to. I mean, bro, they're taking 50% of the shots on the team. Most nights, more than 50%. So
all right.
I would not be opposed to that. There's a huge slate tonight. There's plenty of opportunity to win. Like I said, there's still a couple more games I want to get a look at. Can't really get stuff that I want on a couple of the late games, but. Stay tuned to the timeline. I'll be happy to drop them. But that's pretty much all I have for basketball today that I really, really love.
Yes, sir. So before we get into college hoops, make sure to give our episode a like on YouTube and make sure to give us that subscribe. We just have to keep hitting it home where Friday we're giving away the $250 for hitting the 1,000 subs. So make sure to be tuning in then. Oh, college basketball slate. You got a lot of double-digit spreads or a lot of pick'ems. And then you got the Notre Dame-Miami game kind of sitting in there at 5. So it might be a little bit of tread carefully night, and I'm going to be sticking towards the games that are pick'ems. So we got to start it off since there's the 3 p.m. tip. Florida going into Mizzou. It's probably one of the grossest games that could potentially be in the 3 o'clock spot. We love the standalone game, love the afternoon DGen action, but got to flip a coin here if you're trying to pick someone on the spread here. 5.5, I think, is the worst possible number to be laying in college hoops. The over-under thing
Up
at
to 6.
134.5.
Up to 6 now on FanDuel.
Yeah, there's just nothing that entices me whatsoever to be locking in a solid unit on a play in that game.
Yeah, I'm not touching it. Obviously, I would never ever trust Florida on the road. I can't. That's really what it boils down to for me. I don't trust Florida on the road, and Missouri's not good, but they covered against a couple of really good teams at home. So it's Jekyll and Hyde on both sides, and you don't know what you're going to get. So I will be not touching it.
Yep, probably the best way to do it. But if you're going to be dabbling into it, go for it. We'll get to the big games in a little bit, but the first two pick 'em. Sosa, I think you'll like where we're going here. First one we're going to be starting it off with is the books are telling you something with this line here, and we're going to be backing the Temple Owls on the money line at minus 115 going into ECU here. If you tapped in with us on Paid for Play last night, the American Conference is just pretty awful. And when I saw that Temple wasn't dogs, it's just the books telling you that they're probably going to go in there and stomp them out, right? ECU is on a pretty bad stretch right here. And the one thing that Temple does is defend well from deep, and that's where ECU relies on the majority of their shots. So that's where we think we can lock them up. And Temple has the better 2-point defense as well. So I'm backing the team with the better defense on the road right at the pick 'em on the money line at minus 115. TCU is currently on that 4-game losing skid, maybe looking to turn it around where they think they're getting someone that's comparable to their style. The Owls should go in there and take care of business.
The Owls, huh? How hard was that for you to pick? How much did it take for you to pick them? Like
I don't hate Nova's the only one that I hate betting on. The rest I can do. Because, St. Joe's, we think we're higher than all the rest of them. Temple or Villanova is the only one that we don't think we are. Second one, going to the A10 here, another pick'em game, and St. Louis going into George Mason here. And once again, we're backing the better defense. It's how we're going to be rocking on all of our plays today. So that means we're backing St. Louis on the money line at even. So once again, another pick 'em. Like we said, we played 3 unders yesterday. We're playing 3 games at the pick 'em. I got to always rock the better defense, even if they are on the road here. George Mason's stats look great if you're based into analytics, but when you've been watching their game film and breaking it down, once they've hit the A10, it's been a little bit different. Sure, they look good when they've played St. Joseph's and UMass, but that's really not the toughest teams to get your offense rolling against. The game against Bonnie's, I think, is just an outlier, so I expect St. Louis to go in and roll quite easily at Mason.
Let's get it.
Any game that you want to be talking about from a bigger perspective or any college action you got?
The game that I love the most out of any of them tonight.
Because you got Nova going into Marquette, which is a good one. Oklahoma State at Kansas State.
The late start. That late start is weird. A 10 p.m. Eastern start, like on the that's
the Fox Sports 1 because there's no Mountain West. I was so upset because the Mountain West
weird.
always has that spot. That's
really weird. So
that's the league we've been dominating in is the conference is the Mountain West, but that's where they threw this game into that spot.
Absolutely. So for me, I can't do it.
Greensboro hosting VMI. I like it. You could talk me into that one. Another game, the 2 trappy games I think are the Oklahoma State at Kansas and the Syracuse at North Carolina State. Just complete stayaways for me there. One game that I think we're going to see a decent amount of pacing and an over that we're going to be rocking with is the total in Arkansas versus Georgia. I like this one to go over the 151.5 here. You're back in the big number, but defense is in neither of these teams' mantras here. Both of these teams will be able to excel close to the rim because Georgia ranks in the bottom 25, and defense and Georgia's offense will be able to deal with the inside of it because Jalen Williams won't be able to control Braylon Bridges tonight. So I expect Arkansas to get that going. So over 151.5.
Let's fucking get it. And again, I get people. I'm back in that mode where I'm very quiet to listen because I know that when you're the best, you're the best. You just gotta, So those are three, right? Those are three.
Yeah, those are the three. I really want to do a fourth, but I don't know if we can back LaSalle.
No pasta dish for me. No pasta dish for me, my brother. I'm staying out of that one.
I mean, it's just a pure fade George Washington spot. It's really more of what that one is. Looking to always fade George Washington. It's a small number. You don't get many shots in the season where a George Washington game is listed at a pick'em, and they're technically a slight favorite since they're laying the minus 120. Ooh, John Law likes Mizzou to win outright at that 3 o'clock, but we'll keep pasta dish off the card. Wisconsin, Illinois, D-Rock. I agree with that one. That's kind of the game where I want to sit back, really take it in because this is a good barometer test for both of these teams for how the rest of the Big Ten outlook goes here. So that's kind of where I don't see a big enough edge either way to be laying points or taking points in this one. So that's when I put my feet up and watch it because that 7 point is kind of telling you that Wisconsin ain't hitting their threes tonight. And when they don't hit their threes, they really don't have much shot.
Absolutely. That's a weird number. Man, listen, college basketball has been just weird for me. So I got
just every season is weird.
I have no thoughts, man. I've had like some great days and some like just you just look like you don't know what you're doing some days. It's like insane. I'm good off all that. So
past that, that's really what we got planned for the show today. We started off with the NBA action with Sosa's player props that he's liking for tonight. And then you just heard the 3 college hoops plays for the day.
So
no hockey today, unfortunately. No soccer today. Soccer will be back on Friday. Past that, make sure to give the episode a like. We appreciate all of you tuning in. $250 out on Friday. Signed memorabilia announcement out on Friday.
You see that it'll be Gonzaga. There's just give it a little minute.
Yeah, the Kentucky winning it all is something that I didn't think could be true at the beginning of the season, but they're looking like they're going to have 25 plus wins come the end of the year. They're going to have 25 plus wins come the end of the season before
my boy 42, Big Falls. You already know.
Yeah, Oscar Tajibwe, as long as he keeps grabbing 20 points and Ty runs that offense, they could be a threat that I didn't think was legit.
It's 4-2, not 42. Don't fuck that up.
All right. Daily Bread. Like, subscribe, retweet, whatever else. We out.